G'day Legends. This episode, well, it takes us back up to Yeppoon for the biggest trip I've ever been on. Trip of a lifetime, some people say, and after this one, well, I'd have to agree. Nearly $3,500 goes into this from each person, which is a lot of money. Everyone was absolutely frothing, except for me. I was 100% and completely hungover. Me and Clint got first night fever at Agnes Water. I tell you what, that pub will never be the same. I was just praying for the next day. So, going to sleep at night, I just couldn't wait to wake up in the morning. But it was so bloody rough, I could hardly even stay in my bed. Woke up in the morning, walked upstairs, and I looked out at this. Now, it might not look too much through the video, but I can tell you what, sleeping in the bed, honestly, I was struggling to stay in it. But as soon as we got behind the reef, conditions started to calm down a bit. I wasn't hungover anymore, and I just couldn't wait to get in the bloody water. Watching everyone rigging up all their reels and lines and lures just really gets you in the mood, go and slay a couple of fish. And that is exactly what we did. Have a look at this, guys. The outer reef of the Swains. Where would you rather be? The boys wasted no time dropping the tenders in the water. We wasted no time getting ready to go for a spear. This trip, I planned on doing 50-50 spearing and fishing. So let's kick it off with a few trout. By far, my favourite fish to eat, along with pearl perch. But for some reason today, these little fellas, they were really flighty. The first couple of days actually, the fish were just really flighty. Don't know why, but they were. I had my good friend Tony with us on this trip. This was his first boys trip ever. He'd been away with his family, but he had never been on a boys trip in 50 years. So it was pretty cool, and it was awesome to see how excited he was. First time ever spearing also. Didn't take long before we had our first big trout. Mate, this place, it was loaded. Have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 trout just lined up. The boys said to me, don't shoot too many smaller trout. Be very picky with your size. Nah, if it was eating size, I was shooting it. Especially because a lot of the guys wanted to take some home whole to bake. I thought this was a Spanish mackerel, but it turns out it was just a sharky mackerel. Nobody really likes sharky mackerel, but in a ceviche, they are 10 out of 10. You can see Clint lining up this trout. I thought he was going to shoot it from a fair way away, but he closed the distance perfectly and got him. Clint's relatively new to spearfishing, but safe to say he's loving it and he's doing a bloody awesome job. Yeah. So this here is a footballer trout, and I've never speared a footballer trout before. It wasn't until this trip that I found out that a footballer trout turns into a blue spot, and that is a blue spot right there. He was a big fella. I played cat and mouse with this guy for ages. He'd come out of one plate coral, look at me, race off to the next one, I'd chase him. Literally 20 minutes I would have been there for. Look at him over there, the little cheeky bugger. But I didn't get him. One thing I wanted was a nice big blue spot. So this was a bit of a cluster. Right, I found a good size, well, let's just say a big bloody cuttlefish. I love cuttlefish, I love squid. Clint shot it. I've never seen so much ink in my life. It was really funny. We couldn't even see each other in the water for a bit there, but we got a beautiful big cuttlefish. Now, we'll flick over to another boat. It's Pete and Mick, the A-team. I'm going to use their footage here to teach you guys the difference between trout and moo and spangles and just what you have to do to shoot them and what goes into shooting these fish that we love hunting so much. Shooting the trout here, let's be real, trout are a dumb fish. They're easy, they'll sit there, they'll look at you in the face, they'll turn sideways like, are you going to shoot me or not? But they are the best tasting out of them all. So we definitely get our fair share of trout. Absolutely love them. Super shallow water here, you can see why the guys with the stick baits love to throw their stick baits over this shallow water and have the surface strikes from big trout. Trout, trout, trout. The vast majority of the fish that you pull onto the boat which this trip was 573 fish were made up of coral trout. No one was complaining. They are absolutely 10 out of 10 eaten. But after a while, you just get bored of shooting trout. And you do find yourself getting very strict with the size that you want to get. You save it for only the big ones. So you go and look for something with a little bit more power. And that's where this fella comes in. The old Spangled Emperor, or as we like to call them, thongs. Not the most desirable eating fish, although they are well eatable, but they put up one hell of a fight. For these fish, you want to get down to the bottom. The fish will usually swim away from you. Stay calm, scratch up some sand, and they'll turn around and come right on back. Well, that's what the boys told me, because I was like, I can't bloody shoot a Spangled Emperor to save my life. They told me a few tricks, and you'll see later, I get a couple. That's the trick. You want to go down, scratch the surface as they swim away. Literally, they'll turn around and come straight back in. And I tell you what, mate, they peel the line off you. Here's another sharky mackerel. And as I was saying before, 10 out of 10 ceviche flesh. Alright, red-throat emperor. Beautiful eating fish. For me, I couldn't shoot one to save my life on this trip. They were so flighty until I started watching Pete. He had an extra weight on, a little bit heavier than me. And what he would do is 2 or 3 kicks at the top and just slowly float down without moving at all. The fish were almost mesmerised about it. They'd turn back, watch him, just let him shoot them. So I took this method on of a lot calmer descent towards the fish, and mate, my fish count went up big time. So if you ever diving, maybe a little bit extra weight if you're too light, and float down on them really still. Purple cod, as the boys call it, and we always have this discussion. I call them a cattle dog. Anyway, they are absolutely beautiful, and I'd never shot one before, but here, Pete makes it look super easy with that slow descent. The fish don't spook ever too far out of shooting range, and he just smashes them. Purple cod after purple cod after purple cod. Alright, let's get onto a fish that I've been wanting to shoot for a long time, and I've only ever seen one, and that is a moo, or a big eye sea bream. You see here, Pete descends to the bottom, which is in about 12 metres. For these fish, you need such a good breath hold. You need to relax on the bottom, keep still. It is 100% hunting. You are hunting this fish. You're trying to lure it into you, and with that, like I said, you need to relax, you need a long breath hold, you need to keep still, and you need to lure them in, or else they're coming nowhere near. This is where spearing gets a lot more fun. It's not just a trout where you dive bomb, shoot him, or a tusky, or a jack. These fish are tough to shoot, so they're very rewarding when you can get one. And this is why I wanted to shoot one so bad. Unfortunately here, Pete had his GoPro aimed a little bit too low, so you can't see the exact shot. Now you got to remember, he's already dove 12 metres. He's been down there for a while now, so they are not an easy fish to shoot. You've also got to allow yourself time if the fish holes up or gets tangled around the reef to try and get him out before the sharks get him. Bang. It's another moo. And it's not until Pete looks down and you see his gun, you realise just how good of a diver he is. He did all that with about 15 kilos hanging off the back of his gun. So why not go and get another one? And another one. Yeah, if you're watching this, Pete, you're going to be laughing right now going, oh no. I had to play this because as good as he is, we all bloody make mistakes, all right? Now in this clip, he's got his GoPro perfectly faced out. He's hunting this fish perfectly. He's picked a big moo out and he's forgot to load his bloody gun. Pete, what the hell? I bet you had to have a laugh to yourself there, mate, when you got to the surface. All right, here's Mickey. Mick, like Pete, is a very, very good diver, very relaxed, very nice to watch under the water. Just shows by the amount of fish they shoot. Not only towing these 3 big spangles around, but also shooting them is a feat in itself. So you can see here, hunting the moo. Keeping still on the bottom. You see, the longer he stays on the bottom, the more fish will come in, the less spooked they are. You'd think seeing their friends dangle on the end of a line, they'd be a little bit smarter. Here's another method, scratching the reef. You can see this moo in the background. As soon as Mick starts scratching the reef, he turns around, he comes and has a look. Once he engages, he'll just get closer and closer. There you go. So if you ever chase and moo, adopt that method and I reckon you'll get stuck in. You can see here, as opposed to this big blue spot trout, where you just dive bomb and shoot them. Now, I'd way rather eat the trout, but the moo and those other fish are a lot more rewarding to shoot. So there you go. That's why we love spearing. Now it's time for the arvo shift. Now, it was time to come into the boat, have a few beers and see what everyone had caught for the day. And oh my God, this 300 litre esky must have got filled that many times I lost count. We loved coming in and seeing these catches of fish. Have a look at this big doggy that the big fella here got. One of the lads, Cooper, got a nice red on the spear and the deckies had their hands full. Have a look at this for fish filleting. He can be on my fish filleting team any day, although he might not want me on his. Done that once or twice, mate?
Yeah, a few times, mate.
Watching these big ass bull sharks, lemon sharks, big GTs behind the boat come up and eat all the fish that went over the back was awesome. Have a look at this. That's giant trevally smashing all the fish off the back. So of course, we had to put a hook through one and see if we could catch a trevor.
Oh, it's coming at it. Oh,
Did he eat it?
Has he got it? He's got it! Get him!
Only let me in the gap.
Yeah. Put the hurt on him, Cobber. Put the hurt on him. Oh, cop a rod in the face in 2 seconds, though.
Who tied the knots?
Man.
Yeah.
And while the deckhands filleted all the fish and did all the work, we sat back, drank beers, and caught big fish and squid off the back of the duck board. And that right there is why it's worth $3,500 for 7 days on these beautiful bloody boats. The food was amazing. Night one, nice chicken roast dinner, and we were still out the back catching fish. Oh no! Dropped it.
No, there's no one at the back there.
He's just at the back of it. He's just hanging off the back of it.
There he is.
Oh, here he comes.
There he is.
Oh, luring in.
Luring in.
Oh no! They're under the boat. They're hiding under the boat.
They're coming just outside the dock there, then bring them back in. Two to see. Come on.
Oh, is it?
That was going for him too.
Come on, load it, Foley, load it.
You want to make sure you aim him straight for you.
Yeah, right.
You've got to look right down and you've got to face fear in the eye.
This is good style.
Go left, go left, go left, 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 left. Go left into the back. Oh no.
What'd you catch, Tony?
a tinny.
Oh, here. Right there.
2 on.
Swing him over. 2 on. 2 on.
Double hooker.
Double hooker.
We need a second shot, Foley.
Does anyone need a second shot? You got it!
Get it!
Oh, we had it too, eh? And that right there was day one, done and dusted. We woke up in the morning to, well, the usual 15 to 25 knot winds, but behind the reef, it's not too bad. You do get very, very wet in the tenders, so if you're gonna fish, you need to bring really good wet weather gear. Just so happens we've got some available at outerline.com today. Next day, it was back into the trout, but we did a little bit of deeper work, and lo and behold, I seen my first cattle dog. Here he was, but he didn't want to bar me. Now, I hadn't adopted Pete's method of sinking nice and smooth. You can see me here looking around like I'm crossing the traffic, and it just scare him off. Don't do what I do. I even made my noise that I try to make the fish turn around and come back to me, but it wouldn't work. So back to the trout I went. Now, little did I know here, while I was spearing trout, our mate Dave had hooked up to a huge Spanish mackerel. I couldn't hear Clint yelling out to me, "Foley, hurry up!" So he drove over to me, grabbed the gun, said, "Quick, Dave's onto something huge. It's towing him around at about 6 knots. Oh, look, his gun, turn that way. And like a bloody good dive buddy I am, I jumped in that water, I loaded my gun as quick as I could, and I swam over to Dave. And I let go the worst bloody shot I've ever bloody done. Sorry, Dave. I was thinking, oh my God, because I couldn't see his spear flopper hanging out the other side.
Other gun.
Grabbed that other gun, but by that time, Dave had the Spano well and truly wrapped up. What a crack in Spanish. Got one! How good's that?
Yeah, boys.
This is what it was like for the fishermen fishing out of the tenders. You can see why we were enjoying the spearing just a little bit more. You're already soaking wet. Oh, over here you can see another cattle dog. Tried to approach it a little bit different, descend a bit slower, and it worked. He turned around, he was looking at me, he turned sideways, and I shot him. Woohoo, I'd shot my first bloody cattle dog. Now would you believe me if I told you that he was playing dead here the whole time? As soon as I grabbed his throat, I pulled the spear out, he flipped out of my hand and swam straight back into his hole. I couldn't believe it. I spotted a nice trout with a big barramundi cod sitting right beside him. Those fish are beautiful, but they're a protected species and you're not allowed to catch them. We spent the next few hours just hunting all around these bits of plate coral, catching trout and other sorts of fish. Dave got a nice trout here, and then seeing as everyone is always having to rescue my fish, I thought I'd rescue his. Now this here is a moo. You can see the difference between how Mick and Pete approached him, laying on the bottom and enticing them in, and me dive bombing, trying to shoot him as quick as I could. It just doesn't work. and I missed him by a country mile. So here I was just working in the shallows in about 4 or 5 meters and I spotted a big reef cray. For some reason my GoPro spacked out, but I got a nice reef cray. I also got my spear stuck really badly. It took me ages to get it out. Here's a beautiful bommy, and unfortunately this trout, he decided to stick his head over the top at the wrong time. Now, I know I'm shooting a lot of trout, okay? I know. But I love trout. So does everyone else. And the bag limits are double on a charter boat, so we were allowed a lot of trout. So I shot a lot of trout. Now, I got to tell you a funny story here, and sorry Clint, but I got to do it. After I shot that trout just then, I pointed a trout out to Clint, just here. He's hard to see, but he was the most chilled out trout I've ever seen in my life. Clint went down, took a shot at him, stone cold, and missed. The trout moved about 1 foot, so Clint reloaded his gun. You can see here how close he is. Took another shot, missed him again. Wow, just nipped him, and I don't think Clint was real happy.
Mate, I've literally shot at 10 fish today.
Yep, he had shot at 10 fish today and missed them all. But guess what? He didn't know, but he had a bent spear. We whacked a new spear in his gun, and I don't think he missed one for the rest of the trip. Here's just a bit of footage of a really fishy spot. We had an awesome time this afternoon around here, shooting trout, chasing spangles, and the odd moo. And this nice big trout, he was trying to hide from me, but I seen him sneak up there from the top. Now, it's a bit of a risky shot shooting from beneath upways, especially when he's in a little cave, but I shot him and I got him out. Although I did leave my rope in there. Hang on, no, I didn't get, oh no, yep, I did not. Yep, no, got him, you bloody ripper. My rope was stuck pretty good and proper, so as I said before, someone rescued it for me, and that man was Clint. Cheers, mate. Another trout. I told you at the beginning of the video I wanted a really big blue spot trout. That was my aim. Over here, circled, he's hard to see, but there was a big blue spot there, but he was just too quick for us. Anyway, it was back to the boat for a pre-dinner snack, and that was marinated coral trout wings.
Couple of trout wings following.
Oh,
You mean I haven't had lunch?
you earned those.
I mean, trout wings are the best.
Hey, Adam.
And while we ate, the boys worked. Now, it's not too many charters that cryvac every fish fillet and tag them for you. That was just awesome that the Carlo II used this weapon of a cryvacker, and they really look after your catch for you. You just get home, put it in your freezer, you're good for a year. Lovers. Now it's time for dinner. After the pre-dinner trout wings, we had baked trout and lemongrass rice for dinner. Then it was straight back out to chase some more squid. Oh, there's another one here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 3! 4!
All right, come, get me.
Look at jingling. Oh, hey,
Just so hard with that gloves on.
let him go. That's dead set got to be a shark.
If it
Is it coming up?
Chain, open that chain, we'll lift that motherfucker.
Oh, it's a huge lemon shark, man. Holy shit. Do you need a second shot?
Mickey hasn't even let it take his
Holy crap.
meter.
It's just,
Let's
be
get it on
careful
the
when that thing takes off,
Nah,
eh?
we're getting it on the back. Wait, Mickey, I think it's a whiting.
He got off.
Oh, he got away.
Getting towards the end of the trip, and the weather decided to play the game for a few hours in the morning. So guess what we did? We went fishing. Double hook up, boys! You got him, Tone? Yeah, where are they? Oh, gap there, yep. Thanks, Tones. What we got? Little,
Bonito.
oh yeah, that's what they are.
Don't worry about gaff.
What's Tone's got? Mackie. Yeah, another Mackie. Hey, first trout for the fisherman of the trip.
What is it, Adam?
I don't know, it's not white. Oh no, it's got a bit of a...
Red throat or a trout?
I'll go red throat. It's a red throat. Hey. Another trouty.
See the big bull shark chase him up.
Another good
How many
trout.
have you caught, Foley? It's my 4th one for the morning.
We even snuck out with Lockie, the decky, to try and catch a few fish in the RV. I tried my new lure out that the boys from Hot Tackle sent me, and we brained a few good fish. Here we go, this is in our room. That's how much the boat's swaying. Now when we weren't drinking beers, shooting fish, catching fish, we were finding other ways to stay amused. Like playing around in the hectic rough seas. This here is protected behind a reef, so you can imagine what it's like in the open. This was the funnest game I've ever played in my life. Mickey was wondering why he was sliding a little bit more than everyone else. That was because I sprayed some canola oil under the feet of his chair. I am mature, I swear. And for dinner that night, mate, it was roast pork and vegetables, and it was absolutely delicious. We ate like kings on this trip. Pretty much the end of the trip here, guys. Getting right towards the end. Just look how fishy some of these little crevices are. Guess what? That big eye sea bream or moo that I told you about earlier, I shot one. I finally bloody shot one. I did what the boys taught me to do. I had a long breath hold. This isn't the footage, but this is exactly how it happened because I forgot to push the button. But I sat there, I scratched the bottom, I waited, and I waited, and I bloody got one. And it was a good one at that. So, my first big eye sea bream. And I hunted the shit out of him. Here, I started chasing some spangles as well. And I missed. So back to trout I went. And once again I got my spear stuck. And it was still stuck. Yep, still stuck. Oop, nah, come out. Rightio, this is it. Imagine you're fishing. Right now, imagine it. Go on. Imagine you're in this boat and you're fishing. This is why I speared nearly the whole time. The one thing that can let it down is the bloody weather. You are drenched if you're fishing in the tenders. Now my good mate Andrew here, he's a bit of a cray whisperer. So he started getting stuck into them, especially on the last day. Now I took this bit of footage for all our wives. Just in case you thought we were just lapping it up because of all that food. There is a little bit of crap that goes with it as well. I played cat and mouse with a bloody big blue spot again around here and I just couldn't get him. Well, I didn't get me big blue spot, but I'll definitely be back up there another day to try and get another. This was the very last spearing sesh that we had from about 7 in the morning and we had to be back at 11. It was me, Pete, Widow and Clint, and I didn't film. I didn't want to take my GoPro, I just wanted to chill, just have a good time. And guess what? We brained the fish. I got red throat, I got trout, spangles, it was just awesome. We 3/4 filled the esky, we even got 6 crays. And Pete shot one of the biggest blue spots of the trip at 78 centimetres. Now, this is a bit of funny footage. Pete goes in, shoots this big blue spot. Little did he know, here's Mickey going down for the same fish, lining up this beautiful big blue spot, and boom. What the hell? Pete dropped in on him. But what I love about these bunch of boys is there is no ego. We love watching each other catch awesome fish. It was just a funny moment. But how's that for a big ass blue spot trout? And just like that, our trip to the Swains was over. The memories, the friends, the fish, everything I learned over the past 7 days, I'm extremely grateful for. The work that the decking captain put in on this boat is unreal. Now, to answer the question, would I pay $3,500 to go on this trip again? 100% I would. If you've been thinking about going on a trip like this for a while, guys, don't put it off. Book it. You only live once. Fill it with as many good memories as you can. Thanks heaps for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you legends on the boat. I had a bloody ripper time. I'd like to say a massive thank you to our Patreons. Guys, your support means the absolute world to us. If you'd like to become a Patreon, head over to patreon.com/Outerline. And a massive thank you goes out to our sponsors. Without you guys, this show wouldn't happen.